Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So here we have another brand new product to the market, and this time it's from the lovely people over at Radioddity. Now this is called the HF-009, and it's a multi-band HF portable antenna. The first thing I personally like about this antenna is that it comes in this nice carrying case where you can store all of the antenna parts in just one place. So many times I've tested antennas and then lost crucial parts because they do not have a carrying case like this. Now apparently it covers from 5 MHz to 50 MHz, that's the 60 meter band right up to the 6 meter band, and while it's a ground mounted antenna and essentially a quarter wave for each of the supported bands, it's rated up to 150 watts SSB and 100 watts CW. Now including the carrying case, this antenna weighs just a mere 1 kilogram, and in the case there's a shoulder strap which you can attach to the case to make carrying it a little bit more comfortable. Now I think this antenna has been designed and aimed more towards POTA or SOTA guys that need a simple, easy to tune multi-band HF antenna. Now everything is included in the case apart from a radio and battery of course, and you get a ground spike which also supports the antenna. Now that ground spike also has the antenna connection in the form of an SOTA socket. Now there's various extension poles, a telescopic whip antenna, plus a tuning coil for when using the antenna below 18 MHz. Frequencies above 18 MHz, you can just use the telescopic whip to tune the antenna. Now you can remove that tunable loading coil if you do not need it, or you can just slide the tuning slider bar as far towards the top as possible, meaning you don't have to keep swapping parts if you're changing between say 40 and 20 meters. Now the housing where the SOTA socket is located also has 3 holes in it, which is designed for the included ground radial wires. Now you get 3 ground radial wires, each of those are around 5 meters in length, and on one end of each of them there's a banana style plug which just pushes into that connecting housing. Now you also get around 5 meters of 50 ohm coax which is terminated in PL259s, so you can just hook up your radio to your antenna. Now you also get a little SOTA to BNC adapter included, and that's perfect for those of you that have radios like the X6200, the FX3R, or even any of the Aircraft radios which have a BNC as the main antenna output socket. Now as usual, HF bands are pretty flat right now, especially during the day, but we will take this outside and set it up to test as many of the bands as we can. Now it's a glorious day here in the UK, and it's very rare to get nice days like this, so it was actually a perfect opportunity to record testing this video outside. Now I love the way this part is held into place within the case, just using Velcro straps. I think that's a really nice touch. So first we just push that ground spike into the ground, try my best to make sure it's vertical. We then need to attach the 2 extension poles. Now these are threaded with M8 size threads, and yep, you do need both of them. You then need to attach the tuning loading coil. This is performed the same way in which we attached the extension rods a moment ago. The last part of the main vertical antenna is the telescopic whip. Again, this just screws into the tunable loading coil like this. Now for the lower bands below 18 MHz, you need to fully extend the telescopic part and then use the tuning coil to get a tune. But before connecting up my antenna analyzer to the antenna, we do need to connect the included ground wires. Now as mentioned before, there are 3 of them, each of them around 5 meters in length. Now just make sure that when you're putting out the ground wires that you keep them as straight as possible. So lastly, I'll attach the included 5 meter run of coax and then just connect it to my antenna analyzer. Now the first band that I wanted to try was actually 40 meters. And with this band, you're supposed to have the telescopic part fully extended and then use the sliding tunable coil to tune the antenna to the desired frequency. Now I was able to get a tune on 40 meters, but it was not as good as I had hoped. A couple of factors could be at play here though, and that could be because, well, the ground is dry or it needs more radials for 40 meters. Of course, as well, we are using the loading coil to try and make the antenna electrically longer, as a quarter wave of 40 meters is actually 10 meters, and this antenna is in no way 10 meters in length. Now, while I was able to tune, the bandwidth was very narrow, and with the conditions being not very good today, I decided to leave 40 meters alone and just go up to 20 meters. Now, as we're still below 18 MHz, I will still need to use the tunable loading coil. Now, while I did manage to get a tune, as shown here on this SWR plot, the tuning coil could be rather sensitive at times. Just moving the slider a millimeter or so will alter the tune. You'll also notice from this plot that it appears to be very broad-banded, from 13 MHz to 15 MHz, almost usable under an SWR of 2. Now, is that the loading coil doing this, or is it because the elements for this antenna are actually quite thick? And my best chance to test the antenna was to use FT8, and then to check my results on the PSK Reporter website. Now, I did have some contacts over the course of around 15 minutes on the 20 meter band. I think I had the radio set to an output of around 40 or 50 watts, and after making some contacts, I checked the PSK Reporter website, and well, here's the results. Now, that's not bad considering there were literally only 1 or 2 voice SSB transmissions being heard at that time on the 20 meter band. Now, I did actually make an SSB voice contact, but I forgot to record my audio, i.e. my microphone when I was transmitting, but we can hear the station coming back to me.
Zero, Delta, Quebec, Whiskey, Matthew, Roger, 5, 8, Susidia, reporting North Italy, Matthew, Roger.
So next I retuned the antenna for this 17 meter band at 18 MHz, and here the best match I could get was around 1.8. The scan you can see on the screen is from 5 MHz to 50 MHz. Now I performed the scan this wide because I wasn't sure where the lowest dip was. Now I performed the same test using FT8, running again for around 20 minutes or so, and making a few contacts here and there. Again, considering there was literally no SSB transmissions taking place on the band at this time, the reach seems pretty good. Now, tuning for the 15 meter band at 21 MHz was a little tricky. I couldn't get a nice prominent dip. It seems to be very wide banded here. Now here on the FT8 frequency, I managed to get the lowest SWR of around 1.9. Now when I switched to FT8 and then viewed the results to see where my signal had reached around the world on PSK Reporter, there was not many of them. There was, however, a few across the pond on the east coast of the USA. Again, band conditions were pretty much dire today. Now 12 meters at 24 MHz, we saw an SWR of around 1.6, and again a very wide banded. Now over on FT8, I left it running for some time. I did not have many FT8 contacts on 12 meters, but I did have one in Japan. Now this contact took me totally by surprise, and looking at PSK Reporter, the reception reports were actually very sparse, but you can see those few over in Japan. Now isn't it strange how radio propagation works sometimes? Now what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you? Now the last band to test was the 10 meter band at 28 MHz, and if I was testing this a few months ago, the results would be totally different. The band would be packed with stations from all around the world at most times of the day. Tuning wise, it was okay to tune, just shortens the telescopic part like the previous 2 bands until we had the lowest SWR reading. Now just check how wideband this is. My VNA is set from 27 to 30 MHz and it's all below 2. Now the antenna appears to work. It's definitely transmitting a signal around the world, even in poor HF conditions, but why is it so broad-banded? So what do I think about this antenna? Well, I love the fact it comes with a really nice carry case so that all the antenna parts, including the ground radials and the radio coax, all fits into just one bag. Now I can definitely see using this on a beach or even portable if I go camping in the summer. Now adding more radial wires if you want to would also be super easy, so that's not a problem either. In fact, adding more radials will probably help with the tuning, especially on the lower bands. Now the tunable coil is rather interesting with an enclosed slider. I wonder how durable that part is and how long it would last. Now I mentioned earlier about the bandwidth for bands higher than 20 meters. I'm still yet to decide if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I guess with it being broad banded actually means less tuning if changing frequencies within the same band. Now, I believe this antenna is released at the start of June on the Radioddity website, and you can actually pre-order this right now. Now, for those of you in the US, there will be no tariffs on this product right now, according to the website. Of course, I'll leave a discount link below if you want to grab a discount, or just go and simply view more information about this antenna. You can download the user's manual as well, directly from the Radioddity website, if you want to check out this antenna in more detail. Anyway, guys, big thanks to my patrons and YouTube members, and obviously all my lovely subscribers and all of you that watch my videos. Thanks again, it really means a lot. Until next video, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.